The sharp crack of the slap echoed through the marble hallway like a gunshot. Elena's face snapped to the side, her cheek burning. She stumbled back, her cleaning supplies clattering to the floor. The suit jacket she'd accidentally brushed against hung perfectly on the chair, untouched, pristine, worth more than she'd earn in 6 months. Mrs. Castellano, the head housekeeper, stood over her with fury in her eyes. "You don't touch Mr. Russo's things. Ever." Elena's hand flew to her burning cheek, but something else caught Mrs. Castellano's attention. The older woman's face went white. Her eyes locked on Elena's throat, on the small silver pendant that had slipped out from beneath her uniform. "Where did you get that?" Mrs. Castellano whispered, the anger draining from her voice, replaced by something that looked like terror. Before Elena could answer, a voice cut through the tension like a blade. "What's going on here?" Every person in that hallway froze. Even Mrs. Castellano seemed to shrink. Elena turned slowly toward the doorway, and her breath caught. Dante Russo stood there, 6 feet of controlled power in a black suit that probably cost more than her car. His presence filled the space, suffocating and absolute. Cold gray eyes swept the scene, landing on her reddened cheek, then dropping to her throat. His expression changed. The color drained from his face. His jaw clenched so hard she could see the muscle jump. For 3 endless seconds, he just stared at the necklace against her skin, his chest rising and falling like he'd forgotten how to breathe. Then his eyes snapped to Mrs. Castellano. "Get out. This is a story that will hold you from the first word to the last." If you want to know how everything began and where this journey leads, subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments where you're watching from. Every view matters. Elena Rodriguez had perfected the art of being invisible. In the 3 weeks she'd worked at the Russo estate, she'd learned to move through rooms like a ghost, silent, efficient, forgettable. It was a survival skill she'd honed over 6 years of cleaning houses for New York's elite. Don't make eye contact. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't touch anything you don't have to clean. The pay at the Russo mansion was better than anywhere else she'd worked, and she desperately needed it. Sophia, her 4-year-old daughter, had been coughing for weeks. The free clinic said it might be asthma, but the tests cost money Elena didn't have. So she took the job Mrs. Chen had told her about, even though the other maids whispered warnings about the family who lived there. "They're connected," Maria, another maid, had told her on her first day. "You know what I mean? The family. Don't ask questions. Don't see anything. Just clean and go home." Elena had nodded. She didn't care about the Russo family's business. She cared about Sophia's medicine and keeping the lights on in their basement apartment in Queens. The mansion was massive, 23 rooms, she'd counted. She'd only seen Dante Russo twice from a distance, once stepping into a black SUV with men in expensive suits surrounding him, and once standing in his study with his back to the door, speaking rapid Italian into his phone. Both times, every person nearby had tensed, moving with careful precision around him. He was younger than she expected, maybe 32, 33. Brutally handsome in a way that felt dangerous. Dark hair, sharp jaw, and eyes that seemed to calculate everything. She'd heard the other staff talk about him in hushed tones. He'd inherited the organization at 25 when his father was killed. In 7 years, he'd doubled their territory and eliminated every rival family who tried to challenge him. Elena didn't want to know more than that. Today she was assigned to the East Wing, the private quarters. She worked quickly, methodically. Vacuum the hallway. Dust the artwork. Empty the trash cans. She was reaching for the cleaning supplies on her cart when her elbow caught the handle, knocking a bottle of polish to the floor. It rolled directly toward the leather chair where a suit jacket hung, clearly laid out for the evening. Her heart jumped. She lunged forward to catch the bottle before it could touch the expensive fabric. Her fingers closed around it, but her shoulder brushed the jacket's sleeve for a fraction of a second. The slap came out of nowhere. Mrs. Castellano appeared like a demon, her hand connecting with Elena's face with enough force to make her ears ring. Elena gasped, stumbling backward, her hand flying to her burning cheek. "How dare you?" Mrs. Castellano's voice was ice and fury. "That suit costs $18,000. Mr. Russo has a meeting tonight. If anything happened to it—" "I didn't. I just—" Elena's voice came out strangled. Tears stung her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She wouldn't give this woman the satisfaction. "You don't touch Mr. Russo's things. Ever." Mrs. Castellano stepped closer, her finger pointed at Elena's face. "Do you understand? Girls like you are replaceable. There are 50 women who'd take your—" She stopped mid-sentence. Her eyes dropped to Elena's throat. The silver pendant, the one she always wore tucked beneath her uniform, had slipped out during the collision. It hung there now, visible against her skin. Mrs. Castellano's face went from red to white in an instant. "Where did you get that?" Elena's hand instinctively closed around the necklace. "It's mine." "Where did you get it?" The older woman's voice shook now, the anger replaced by something else. Fear. "It's mine," Elena repeated, taking a step back. "It's always been mine. What's going on here?" The voice dropped into the hallway like a stone into still water. Every ripple of sound died instantly. Mrs. Castellano went rigid. The 2 other staff members who'd been watching from doorways vanished like smoke. Elena turned toward the voice, and her entire body locked up. Dante Russo stood in the doorway of his study, 20 feet away. He was even more intimidating up close. Tall, easily over 6 feet. Shoulders that filled his custom suit. Dark hair perfectly styled, though one strand had fallen across his forehead. His face was carved from marble, high cheekbones, strong jaw, a mouth set in a hard line. But it was his eyes that paralyzed her. Gray like storm clouds. Cold. Calculating. The eyes of someone who'd seen things she couldn't imagine and made decisions she didn't want to know about. Those eyes swept the scene, taking in everything in seconds. Her red cheek. The overturned cleaning cart. Mrs. Castellano's guilty posture. Then his gaze dropped to Elena's throat. He went completely still. It was like watching a statue experience an earthquake. His face drained of color. His jaw clenched so hard she could see the muscle jump beneath his skin. His chest rose and fell in shallow, rapid breaths. For 3 seconds, he just stared at the necklace, and Elena swore she saw something crack in his carefully controlled expression. Pain. Raw and absolute. Then it was gone, buried beneath ice. "Get out." His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of absolute authority. Mrs. Castellano didn't hesitate. She practically ran down the hallway. The other staff members had already disappeared. Elena stood frozen, her hand still clutching the pendant. She should leave. Every instinct screamed at her to grab her cart and run. But her legs wouldn't move. His eyes had locked onto hers, and she felt pinned in place. He moved toward her with controlled precision. Each step deliberate. A predator approaching prey. When he was 5 feet away, he stopped. "Where did you get that necklace?" His voice was still quiet, but there was something beneath it now. Something dangerous. "It's mine." Her voice came out stronger than she felt. "It's always been mine." "That's not what I asked." Elena's chin lifted. She'd been slapped, terrified, and cornered, but she'd be damned if she'd let this man intimidate her into giving up the one thing she had left of her mother. "It belonged to my mother. She gave it to me before she died." Something flickered across his face. "Your mother?" "Yes." "What was her name?" Elena hesitated. Every survival instinct told her to lie. But something in his expression, that crack she'd seen, that moment of raw pain, made her tell the truth. Isabella. Isabella Rodriguez. The name hit him like a physical blow. He took a step back, his hand coming up to his chest as if he couldn't breathe. His eyes closed for just a second, and when they opened again, they were filled with something that looked like agony. "Bella," he whispered. Elena's blood went cold. No one had called her mother that. No one except— "How old are you?" His voice was rough now, urgent. 26. He did the math in his head. She watched him do it. Watched his face transform as he put the pieces together. "When's your birthday?" "Why does that matter?" "Tell me." It was a command, but there was desperation underneath it. "August 7th. His knees nearly gave out. She saw it, the way he locked them, forced himself to stay standing. His hand went to the wall, bracing himself. 27 years ago. 27 years. I don't understand. How did she die? He cut her off, his eyes boring into hers. How did Isabella die? Cancer. When I was 10. The familiar ache settled in her chest. Why are you? Show me the necklace. Please. The "please" surprised her more than anything else. This man who everyone feared, who commanded with single words, was asking, almost begging. Slowly, Elena lifted the chain over her head and held it out. Her hand shook slightly. Dante took it like it was made of glass. His fingers traced the small silver pendant, a simple design, a compass rose with a tiny diamond at the center. He turned it over, and his breath caught. On the back, barely visible, were engraved initials, Dr+IR. "I gave this to her," he whispered. 27 years ago. I gave her this and told her it would always lead her home. To me. Elena's world tilted. "That's not possible." "You're not. You couldn't be." His eyes met hers, and she saw it. The truth. The impossible, terrible truth. "Isabella Rodriguez was the love of my life," Dante said, his voice breaking on the words. "And if you're 26, born in August, with her necklace and her face." He reached out slowly, his hand hovering near her cheek, the one that still burned from the slap. He didn't touch her, but his fingers trembled an inch from her skin. "Then you're my daughter." The world stopped. Elena couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what he'd just said. "No." The word ripped out of her. "No. My father died before I was born. My mother said— She thought I was dead." His hand dropped. "I was supposed to die. There was an ambush. My father's enemies. I was 21, stupid, in love with a girl from the wrong side of the city. They shot me 3 times and threw me in the river. Your mother saw it happen. She ran. I told her to run. And by the time I crawled out and survived—" His voice cracked. "By the time I found out she was alive, she was gone. Vanished. I looked for her for 2 years. I never knew," he broke off, his jaw working. "I never knew about you." Elena shook her head, backing away. This couldn't be real. This was insane. "You're lying. This is some kind of— You have her eyes." His voice was raw. "Exactly her eyes. And her chin. And the way you lifted it when you were afraid but refused to back down. That's Bella. That's her." He pressed his hand to his chest. "I lost her 26 years ago, and I've spent every day since then half alive. And now you're standing here, wearing the necklace I gave her, and I can't breathe." Elena's back hit the wall. Her mind was spinning. This was Dante Russo, the mafia boss, the man people feared. He couldn't be. But her mother had never talked about her father. Had always changed the subject when Elena asked. Had that haunted look in her eyes sometimes, late at night, when she thought Elena was asleep. Had clutched that necklace like a lifeline until the day she died and pressed it into Elena's hand with shaking fingers. "Keep it safe," her mother had whispered. "It's all I have left of him." "Oh, God," Elena breathed. Dante took a careful step forward. "I know this is impossible to process. I know you have no reason to believe me or trust me. But please," his voice broke again, "please don't run. Not yet. Let me prove it. Let me." The elevator at the end of the hall chimed. Dante's entire demeanor changed in an instant. The vulnerability vanished, replaced by cold authority. He grabbed Elena's wrist, gently but firmly, and pulled her toward his study. "Inside. Now." "What?" "Someone's coming. If they see you, if they know what you are to me." He pushed her through the door. "You're in danger. Do you understand? The second anyone knows you're my daughter, you become a target." Elena's heart hammered. "I don't. Stay here. Don't make a sound." He pressed the necklace back into her hand, his fingers lingering for just a second. "We're not done. Not even close. But right now I need you safe." He closed the door, leaving her alone in his study. Through the heavy wood she heard voices. Deep. Aggressive. Italian words she didn't understand. And Elena stood there, clutching her mother's necklace, her entire world shattered and reformed in the space of 10 minutes. She had a father. And he was the most dangerous man in New York. Elena pressed herself against the wall of Dante's study, her heart thundering so loudly she was certain whoever was outside could hear it. The voices in the hallway grew louder, harsh Italian syllables punctuated by her father's low, controlled responses. Her father. The thought made her knees weak. 26 years of believing he was dead, of imagining him as some romantic figure her mother had loved and lost. Never this. Never a mafia boss with blood on his hands and an empire built on violence. The door opened suddenly. Elena jumped, but it was Dante. He stepped inside quickly and locked it behind him. "They're gone." His eyes scanned her face with an intensity that made her feel exposed. "Are you all right? Am I all right?" Elena's voice came out higher than intended. "You just told me you're my father, that my mother faked her death to protect me from this?" She gestured wildly at the opulent study, at him, at everything. "So no. I'm not all right." He flinched at her tone but didn't argue. "Sit. Please." "I don't want to sit. I want answers." "Then I'll give them to you." He moved to a cabinet, pulled out 2 glasses and a bottle of amber liquid. "But you might want to sit for this." Elena remained standing. Dante poured anyway, pushing 1 glass across his desk toward her. He didn't drink his, just held it, staring at the liquid like it contained answers. "Your mother and I met when I was 20. She was working at a cafe in Queens, the one on Northern Boulevard, corner building." "You know it." Elena's breath caught. She knew it. She'd grown up 6 blocks from there. "It closed when I was 12. I used to go there every morning. She'd make my coffee wrong on purpose just to annoy me." A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "It took me 3 weeks to realize she was doing it deliberately. 2 more before I got the courage to ask her out." The smile faded. "My father forbade it. Isabella wasn't Italian. Wasn't from a connected family. Wasn't," his jaw clenched, "she wasn't acceptable. But you dated her anyway. I was 20 and stupid and so in love I couldn't think straight." He finally took a drink. "We had 6 months. 6 perfect months where I thought I could have both, her and this life. I was wrong." Elena's fingers tightened around the necklace. "The ambush you mentioned. The Moretti family. They'd been trying to weaken my father for years. They found out about Bella, Figured she was my weakness. They were right. His voice went cold. They came for us at her apartment. I got her out the fire escape, told her to run and not look back. They shot me in the parking lot. 3 times, chest, shoulder, side. Threw me in the East River. But you survived. Barely. One of my father's men found me 2 hours later, more dead than alive. Took me 3 months to recover. By then. He set down his glass with deliberate care. By then, Bella was gone. Vanished. Changed her name, left the city. I hired investigators. Spent a fortune trying to find her. But she'd hidden too well. She thought I was dead, and she didn't want to be found. Elena's throat tightened. Her mother had moved them constantly when Elena was young. Different apartments, different neighborhoods. Always looking over her shoulder. Elena had thought she was paranoid. Now she understood. She was protecting me. She was protecting both of you. Dante's eyes met hers. If I'd known about you, if anyone had known, you would have been leverage against me. A target. She knew what this life meant. So she disappeared and raised you alone. The unfairness of it crashed over Elena. Her mother, working 3 jobs to keep them fed. Never dating, never remarrying. Living in fear and poverty while the man she loved, the father of her child, had power and wealth beyond imagination. You never found her? The question came out bitter. I found out she died. His voice cracked. 4 years after she left. I'd finally tracked down a lead, a hospital record in Queens. Elena Rodriguez, cancer patient. By the time I got there. He stopped, his hand clenching into a fist. She'd been dead for 2 weeks. I went to her grave. Put flowers there every week for 3 years. But there was no mention of a child. Nothing in any record I could find. I thought, he swallowed hard. I thought she'd been alone. Elena felt something shift inside her. He'd mourned. He'd looked. He'd cared. Her mother had been loved, even if she'd never known he survived. She never stopped wearing the necklace, Elena said quietly. Even at the end, when she was so weak she couldn't lift her head, she kept it on. She made me promise to keep it safe. Dante's eyes glistened. He turned away quickly, his hand coming up to his face. His shoulders shook once, then went rigid. When he turned back, his expression was controlled again, but his eyes were red. She thought I was dead. She died thinking I was dead. Yes. And you grew up believing the same thing. Yes. He nodded slowly, processing. What was your childhood like? Elena almost laughed. You really want to know? Yes. We were poor. My mother worked herself to death, literally, trying to provide. We moved every few years. I wore second-hand clothes and ate free lunch at school. After she died, I went into foster care. Aged out at 18, worked my way through community college, and have been cleaning houses ever since. She met his eyes defiantly. So if you're wondering if your daughter had a good life, the answer is no. The words hit him like bullets. She watched each one land, watched him absorb the reality of what his absence had meant. Elena. Don't. She held up a hand. I didn't tell you to make you feel guilty. You didn't know. Neither did she. It's just, her voice wavered. It's just that all of this mansion, this wealth, this power, it could have changed everything. And I'm angry. Not at you exactly. Just at fate or God or whatever kept us apart. You have every right to be angry. I know I do. She swiped at her eyes angrily. And I don't know what to do with any of this. You're my father, but you're also... She gestured at the heavy door, at the world beyond it. You're this. A criminal. Someone people fear. Yes. Did you kill people? He didn't hesitate. Yes. Will you again? If someone threatens what's mine? Yes. Elena's stomach twisted. This is insane. I know. He took a careful step toward her. And I don't expect you to accept this overnight. I don't expect you to call me father or want anything to do with me or this life. But Elena, his voice intensified, you're my daughter, my child. I have spent 26 years mourning a woman I loved and never knowing I had another reason to live. Now you're here, real, alive, and I will do everything in my power to make up for the years I missed. If you'll let me. I don't know if I can. Then don't decide now. He moved to his desk, pulled out a business card, and wrote something on the back. This is my private number. No one else has it. If you need anything, money, protection, answers, you call me. Day or night. Elena took the card numbly. And Elena? He waited until she looked at him. You're not safe here anymore. Mrs. Castellano saw the necklace. She'll talk. And once word spreads that Dante Russo has a daughter. His expression went dark. Every enemy I have will come for you. Fear spiked through her. What are you saying? I'm saying you need protection. Security. A place to live that's not a basement apartment in Queens where anyone could. He stopped, noticing her expression. You have a basement apartment in Queens. It wasn't a question. How did you? Your personnel file. I pulled it the moment I saw the necklace. He didn't look apologetic. You're 26, single, living at an address that's in a high-crime area. The building has no security. You take 2 buses to get here. You work 3 jobs. His voice hardened. That ends now. You can't just. I can. I will. He pulled out his phone, started typing. I'm arranging a security detail. They'll be discreet but present. And I'm moving you somewhere safe. I'm not moving. I have a life. I have. She stopped. Sophia. Oh God, Sophia. I have a daughter. Dante's head snapped up. What? I have a daughter. Sophia. She's 4. Elena's hand went to her chest, panic rising. She's with my neighbor right now. If what you're saying is true, if people are going to come after me, they'll come after her too. His face went pale. You have a daughter. I have a granddaughter. Yes. Where is she? With Mrs. Chen. She watches Sophia while I work. But I have to pick her up at 6, and if... Give me the address. Why? Because I'm sending a security team there right now. And then I'm sending someone to get both of you and bring you here. No. Absolutely not. I'm not bringing my daughter into safety? His voice cut through her protest. Into the only place I can guarantee she won't be touched? Elena, listen to me. He moved closer, his eyes boring into hers. I've made a lot of enemies. Dangerous people. If they find out about you, about her, they will use her to get to me. The only way to protect her is to bring her somewhere they can't reach. Elena's mind raced. Every instinct screamed to refuse, to grab Sophia and run. But where would they go? How would they hide? And if he was right, if people really would come after them? She's 4 years old, Elena whispered. She's innocent. She doesn't understand any of this. Then we keep her that way. Dante's voice softened. I will protect her with my life. I swear it. But I need you to trust me. Trust him. Trust a man she'd met 20 minutes ago. Trust a criminal, a killer. Trust her father. Elena looked at his face, at the desperate hope there, the determination, the fear he was trying to hide. He'd lost her mother. Lost 26 years with his daughter. He wasn't going to lose his granddaughter, too. "Okay," she said finally. "But I go with whoever you send. I don't let Sophia out of my sight." "Agreed." He was already dialing. "Marco, I need you to pick up someone from Queens. Immediately. She's with a Mrs. Chen at—" He looked at Elena. She rattled off the address, her heart in her throat. "Armed escort. 3 cars. Bring them to the estate." He paused. "Because she's family. That's all you need to know." He hung up and looked at Elena. "They'll be there in 15 minutes. We need to go." "Go where?" "With them. You said you don't let Sophia out of your sight. I don't let you out of mine." He grabbed a jacket from behind his desk. "From this moment forward, Elena, you're under my protection. Both of you. And anyone who tries to hurt you will answer to me." The certainty in his voice should have terrified her. Instead, for the first time in her life, Elena felt safe. The SUV smelled like leather and gun oil. Elena sat in the back seat, pressed between Dante and a man he'd introduced only as Luca, 6.5 feet of solid muscle with a shoulder holster visible beneath his jacket. 2 more vehicles flanked them, moving through Queens with practiced precision. "She's going to be scared," Elena said for the 3rd time. "Sophia doesn't do well with strangers." "Marco knows how to handle children," Dante replied. His jaw was tight, his eyes scanning every car they passed. "He has 3 of his own. That doesn't mean—" "She'll be fine." He glanced at her, his expression softening fractionally. "I promise." Elena wanted to believe him. She had to believe him. The alternative, that she'd just made a catastrophic mistake trusting a man she barely knew, was too terrifying to consider. Her phone buzzed. Mrs. Chen. "Hello. Elena, there are men here." Mrs. Chen's voice was high with panic. "Big men in suits. They say—" "It's okay," Elena interrupted quickly. "They're with me. Let them take Sophia." "Are you sure? They look like—" "I'm sure. I'll explain later." "Please, Mrs. Chen. Trust me." A long pause. Then, "Okay. But you call me when you have her." "I will." "Thank you." Elena hung up, her hands shaking. Dante's hand covered hers, just for a second, warm and steady, before he withdrew. "Almost there," he said. They pulled up to Mrs. Chen's building 5 minutes later. The lead SUV was already there, Marco emerging with Sophia's small hand in his. Even from the car, Elena could see her daughter's wide eyes, her Iron Man backpack clutched to her chest. Elena had the door open before they'd fully stopped. "Sophia! Mommy!" Sophia broke free from Marco's hand and ran. Elena scooped her up, holding her tight enough to make Sophia squeak. "I'm here, baby. I'm here. The big man said you sent him." Sophia pulled back, her dark eyes, Isabella's eyes, searching Elena's face. "He has a daughter named Lucia." "That's right." Elena smoothed Sophia's dark curls, her heart rate slowly returning to normal. "We're going somewhere safe, okay? With these nice people." Sophia's gaze drifted past Elena to the car, where Dante stood by the open door. She tilted her head. "Who's that?" Elena's breath caught. What did she say? How did she explain? "I'm an old friend of your mommy's," Dante said before Elena could speak. He crouched down to Sophia's level, his massive frame somehow less intimidating in that position. "My name is Dante." Sophia studied him with the intense focus only a 4-year-old could manage. "You're really tall." "I am." "Do you have toys at your house?" A ghost of a smile touched his lips. I don't. But I can get some. What kind do you like? Dinosaurs. And Legos. Then I'll make sure you have dinosaurs and Legos. He stood, his eyes meeting Elena's over Sophia's head. The look there made her throat tight. Wonder, pain, hope. He was meeting his granddaughter. Come on, Dante said gently. Let's get you both somewhere safe. The drive to the estate took 30 minutes. Sophia fell asleep against Elena's side halfway through, exhausted from the excitement. Elena stroked her hair absently, her mind spinning. What had she done? What world had she just brought her daughter into? She looks like you, Dante said quietly. Elena glanced at him. He was watching Sophia with an expression that cracked something in her chest. She has my mother's eyes. Yes. His voice was rough. She does. They pulled through massive iron gates 20 minutes later. The mansion rose against the night sky like something from a movie, all lit windows and perfect architecture. Staff appeared from nowhere, unloading bags Elena didn't remember packing. This way, Dante said, leading them inside. The interior was even more intimidating than she remembered from her brief time cleaning. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Artwork that probably cost more than she'd earn in a lifetime. I had rooms prepared, Dante continued, guiding them up a grand staircase. Connected suites on the 3rd floor. Private. Secure. Sophia's room is next to yours. I had some things brought in, but if she needs anything else... Dante. Elena stopped walking. You did all this in less than an hour? He met her eyes. I would have done it in less if I could. You're my family. There's nothing I won't do to make sure you're comfortable here. Family. The word settled strangely in her chest. The rooms were beautiful. Sophia's had been transformed into a child's paradise. Soft pink walls, a canopy bed, shelves already stocked with books and toys. Elena's suite was elegant and spacious, with a view of the gardens. Too much? Dante asked, watching her face. It's... Elena looked down at Sophia, still sleeping in her arms. She's going to think she's in a fairy tale. Good. He stepped closer, his voice dropping. I know this is overwhelming. I know I'm asking you to trust me when you have every reason not to. But Elena, I lost your mother. I lost 26 years with you. I won't lose either of you now. Whatever it takes. Whatever you need. It's yours. Elena felt tears burn behind her eyes. I don't know how to do this. Neither do I. A wry smile touched his lips. I've run a criminal empire for 11 years. I've handled wars, betrayals, impossible situations. But being a father, being a grandfather, I have no idea what I'm doing. The honesty of it surprised a laugh out of her. At least you admit it. Always. With you, I'll always be honest. He moved toward the door, then paused. There's a security system. Press the red button if you need anything. It connects directly to me. The blue one calls the house staff. And Elena. He looked back at her. You're safe here. I promise. After he left, Elena carried Sophia to the bed and tucked her in. Her daughter didn't wake, just burrowed deeper into blankets that probably cost more than a month's rent. Elena stood there for a long moment, watching her sleep. Then she moved to the window and looked out at the grounds, at the security personnel she could just barely see patrolling, at the walls that surrounded this place, at the life she'd just stepped into. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Sleep well. We'll talk in the morning. D. Elena stared at the message, then at the room, then at her daughter. She'd gone from being invisible to being protected by the most dangerous man in New York. Her father. And somehow, impossibly, she thought her mother would approve. Elena woke to sunlight streaming through silk curtains and the sound of Sophia's laughter. She bolted upright, disoriented. This wasn't their apartment, then remembered. The mansion. Dante. Everything. She found Sophia in the adjoining room, sitting on the floor with a massive set of Legos spread around her. Standing nearby, looking utterly out of place in his three-piece suit, was Dante. And then the T-Rex eats the bad guy, Sophia was explaining, making appropriate dinosaur sounds. That seems fair, Dante replied seriously. The bad guy probably deserved it. Yeah, 'cause he was mean to the baby T-Rex. Unforgivable. Elena must have made a sound, because both of them looked up. Sophia jumped to her feet. Mommy, Mr. Dante got me Legos. And dinosaurs. And look, she held up a massive V-continuer stuffed brontosaurus. His name is Fred. Fred is an excellent name, Elena managed, her eyes meeting Dante's. He looked slightly sheepish. I might have overdone it with the toys, he admitted. Marco's daughters helped me order online at 3 a.m. You were up at 3 a.m. buying toys? I couldn't sleep. He stood, brushing imaginary dust from his suit. Sophia, your mommy and I need to talk. Can you keep building with the Legos? Okay. Sophia was already back to construction, completely absorbed. Dante gestured toward Elena's room. She followed, closing the door behind them. She's remarkable, he said immediately. Smart. Creative. You've done an incredible job raising her. Thank you. Elena crossed her arms, defensive. I did it alone, so. I know. His voice was gentle. And I'm sorry for that. If I'd known. You would've what? Taken us in? Raised me in this world. She gestured around them. Would that have been better? I don't know, he admitted. But you would have been safe. Provided for. You wouldn't have struggled. Maybe struggle made me stronger. Maybe it did. He moved to the window, his shoulders tight. We need to talk about what happens now. What do you mean? You can't go back to your apartment. You can't work at the estate as a maid. Mrs. Castellano already knows something's different, and once word spreads. So what am I supposed to do? Hide here forever? No. But until I neutralize the threat. Wait. Elena's blood ran cold. What threat? You said we were safe here. You are. Here. He turned to face her. But there are people who would use you against me if they knew about you. Rival families. The FBI. Enemies I haven't even made yet. The FBI? They've been trying to build a case against me for years. If they found out I have a daughter, they'd use you as leverage. Try to flip you, threaten you, anything to get to me. Elena sat down heavily on the bed. This is insane. This is my life. His voice hardened. And now it's yours too. I'm sorry for that. But we deal with reality, not wishes. So what's the plan? Short term? You stay here. I increase security. Make sure no one can get to you or Sophia. Long term. He paused. That depends on you. On me how? On whether you want to be part of this world or not. He moved closer, his expression intense. I have resources, Elena. Money, power, connections. I can give you and Sophia everything you never had. Education, opportunities, protection. But it comes at a cost. You'd be associated with me. With what I do. Some people would judge you for that. Others would fear you. And yes, some would try to hurt you. Elena's head spun. You're asking me to choose between poverty and danger. No. I'm asking you to choose between the poverty you've known and a different kind of life. One with risks, yes, but also with possibilities you can't imagine. His voice softened. I'm not going to force you. If you want to leave, I'll set you up somewhere safe, somewhere my enemies can't find you. New identity, new city, enough money to live comfortably. You never have to see me again. The offer should have been tempting. Escape with resources and safety. But Elena looked at his face and saw the hope there. The desperate, barely concealed hope that she'd choose to stay. And if I stay? She asked quietly. Then your family. Publicly. I introduce you as my daughter. I give you my protection, my name, everything I have. And we figure out how to be father and daughter 26 years too late. Before Elena could respond, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered automatically. Hello. Elena Rodriguez? A woman's voice, professional and cold. Yes. This is Special Agent Maria Santos with the FBI. I need you to come to our field office for questioning regarding Dante Russo. Elena's eyes went to Dante. He was already moving, pulling out his phone. I don't know what you're talking about, Elena said carefully. We have surveillance footage of you entering Russo's estate yesterday with a child. We know you're there now. And we know about the necklace. Elena's blood went ice-cold. How? Mrs. Castellano is cooperating with our investigation. She told us everything. Come in voluntarily, Ms. Rodriguez, or we'll get a warrant. The line went dead. Elena stared at the phone, then at Dante. They know. The FBI knows about me. His expression went deadly calm, the kind of calm that preceded violence. What did they say? She told him. He listened without interruption, his jaw getting tighter with each word. Castellano. His voice was pure ice. She's been informing. What does that mean for us? It means we're out of time. He pulled her to her feet, his hands on her shoulders. I need to move you. Today. Somewhere they can't find you while I deal with this. Deal with it how? You don't want to know. Yes, I do. Elena met his eyes. If I'm going to be part of this family, I need to know the truth. All of it. He studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. Castellano violated her contract with me. She knew the rules about information leaving this house. The penalty for that is... He stopped. Death, Elena finished quietly. Yes. She should have been horrified. Should have recoiled. Instead, she thought about Sophia in the next room, about the danger Mrs. Castellano had brought to their door, and felt nothing but cold acceptance. Do what you have to do, she said. Dante's eyes widened fractionally. Elena. You asked me to choose. I'm choosing. She straightened her shoulders. Sophia and I stay. We're family. And family protects each other. She paused. Right. Something blazed in his expression. Pride, relief, hope all mixed together. Right. He pulled her into a hug so suddenly it surprised them both. His arms came around her, strong and careful, and Elena felt something crack inside her chest. She'd never been hugged by her father before. Had never known what it felt like to be protected by someone who shared her blood. She hugged him back. I won't let them hurt you, he whispered into her hair. I swear on your mother's grave. I won't lose you again. I know. They stood like that for a long moment. Then Dante pulled back, his expression shifting back to business. Pack what you need. I'm moving you to a safe house upstate. Marco and his team will stay with you. I'll handle the FBI. What about Sophia's things? Already being loaded. He was pulling out his phone, firing off texts. And Elena? When this is over, when you come back, we're doing this right. I'm claiming you publicly. Let everyone know you're mine. No more hiding. Won't that make us bigger targets? Yes. But it'll also make it clear that touching you means declaring war on me. Most people aren't that stupid. A cold smile touched his lips. And the ones who are? I'll make examples of them. 20 minutes later, Elena and Sophia were in another SUV, surrounded by armed men, heading north out of the city. Sophia thought it was an adventure, chattering about Fred the dinosaur and asking if the safe house had a pool. Elena watched the city disappear behind them and thought about the choice she'd made. She was Dante Russo's daughter now. And there was no going back. The safe house was a sprawling estate in the Catskills, surrounded by forest and protected by enough security to guard a president. For 3 days, Elena and Sophia lived in luxury and isolation while Dante handled what he called the situation. He called every night at 8 p.m. exactly. Spoke to Elena first, then asked to talk to Sophia. Elena listened through the door as her daughter told him about her day, about the pool they'd discovered, about the frog she'd found in the garden. "Mr. Dante said he's coming to visit soon," Sophia announced after the third call. "And he's bringing a surprise." "That's nice, baby." "Mommy." Sophia tilted her head. "Is Mr. Dante your friend or something more?" Elena's breath caught. "Why do you ask that?" "'Cause you smile different when he calls. Like you smile at me. Like—" Sophia scrunched up her face, thinking. "Like you love him. Out of the mouths of babes." "He's family," Elena said carefully. "A very special kind of family." "Okay." Sophia accepted this with the easy grace of childhood and went back to coloring. On the 4th day, Dante arrived. Elena heard the cars before she saw them, the distinctive sound of multiple vehicles moving in formation. She moved to the window and watched him emerge from the lead SUV, flanked by bodyguards but somehow apart from them. He looked tired, she noted. Dark circles under his eyes, tension in his shoulders. But he was carrying a massive gift bag. Sophia squealed and ran for the door. Elena followed more slowly, her heart doing complicated things in her chest. "Mr. Dante." Sophia launched herself at him. He caught her easily, lifting her up with a surprised laugh. "Hello, Sophia. I brought you something." "What is it?" "Let's go inside and see." They sat in the living room, Dante on the floor with Sophia, Elena on the couch, security positioned discreetly outside. The gift bag contained an elaborate Lego set, a book about dinosaurs, and a stuffed T-Rex that roared when you squeezed it. Sophia was in heaven. While she played, Dante moved to sit beside Elena on the couch. He kept his voice low. "It's done. The FBI lost their informant. Their case fell apart. And Mrs. Castellano." He paused. "She won't be talking to anyone again." Elena should have asked questions. Should have demanded details. Instead, she just nodded. "We're safe." "You're safe. I've made arrangements with certain people. Put out word through channels. Anyone who touches you or Sophia answers to me personally. No one is that suicidal." "What about the FBI?" "They'll keep watching me. They always do. But without Castellano's testimony, they have nothing. And I've ensured they know that investigating my family will end badly for them." His voice was flat, matter-of-fact. This was his world. This was how he solved problems. Elena should have been horrified. She wasn't. "Thank you," she said quietly. "You don't thank me for protecting what's mine." His hand found hers, squeezed gently. "You're my daughter. She's my granddaughter. There's nothing I won't do to keep you safe." "I know." And she did. She'd seen it in his eyes, in his actions, in the way he'd dismantled threats without hesitation. "There's something else." Dante pulled an envelope from his jacket. Adoption papers. For Sophia. Elena stiffened. What? I want to adopt her. Legally. Make her a Russo. It'll give her protection. If anything happens to you, she'll be under my guardianship. And it'll give her access to everything I have. Education, trust funds, security. He met her eyes. I'm asking your permission. She's your daughter. But I'd like her to be mine too. Elena looked at Sophia, happily building a Lego fortress, completely unaware of the conversation happening 6 feet away. She thought about her mother, who'd died alone and afraid, who'd never known that the man she loved had survived and mourned her for decades. Her mother would have wanted this. Would have wanted Sophia to know her grandfather, to have the protection and love Elena had never had. Yes, Elena said. But we tell her the truth. When she's old enough to understand, we tell her everything. Agreed. Dante's relief was palpable. And Elena? There's one more thing. What? He pulled out another envelope. DNA test results. I had them run while you were here. Just to make it official. Elena took the papers with shaking hands. Opened them. Read the words. Probability of paternity. 99.97%. I didn't doubt you, Dante said quickly. But I wanted documentation. In case anyone ever challenges your position in the family. My position? You're my heir. His voice was firm. Everything I've built, it's yours when I'm gone. And Sophia's after you. This isn't just protection, Elena. This is legacy. Tears burned her eyes. I don't know how to do this. How to be my daughter. He smiled, the expression transforming his face. I don't know how to be a father. We'll figure it out together. Sophia looked up from her Legos. Why is Mommy crying? Dante glanced at Elena, asking silent permission. She nodded. Sophia, Dante said gently, can you come here for a minute? Sophia climbed into his lap without hesitation, completely comfortable with this man she'd known less than a week. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Actually, something's very right. Sophia. He looked at Elena again. She nodded. I'm your grandfather. Sophia blinked. Like Grandma but a boy? Exactly like that. But Mommy said my grandpa died before I was born. We thought he did, Elena said, moving to sit on the floor beside them. But he didn't. He's been looking for us for a very long time. And now he found us. Sophia processed this with her typical seriousness. So you're my real grandpa? I am. Do I call you Grandpa? You can call me whatever you want. Sophia considered. Can I call you Nano? My friend Lucia calls her grandpa that. Dante's eyes glistened. Nano is perfect. Okay. Sophia hugged him, simple and pure. I love you, Nano. He closed his eyes, his arms coming around her. I love you too, tesoro mio. More than you know. Elena watched them, tears streaming down her face now. Her daughter and her father. The family she never knew she could have. Later, after Sophia fell asleep in the massive bed upstairs, Elena and Dante sat on the terrace overlooking the forest. The night was clear, stars scattered across the sky like diamonds. She called me Nano, Dante said quietly. She loves me. She does. Sophia's like that, quick to love, quick to trust. Elena paused. I'm more guarded. I noticed. But I'm getting there. She looked at him. You're not what I expected. No. I expected a monster. Someone cold and cruel and... I am those things, he interrupted, when I need to be. I've done terrible things, Elena. I'll do more terrible things. That's the price of this life. I know. But you're also, she struggled for words. You bought my daughter dinosaurs at 3 a.m. You listened to her stories about frogs. You want to protect us so badly it's in every line of your face. That's not a monster. That's a father. I'm both, he said simply. The world sees the monster. You get to see the father. Consider it a privilege. She laughed despite herself. So modest. I'm a crime lord, not a saint. But he was smiling. Elena, I want to ask you something. And you can say no. What? Come back to the city. To the mansion. Live there. Properly. Not as a maid, but as my daughter. Let me introduce you to my world. Let people know who you are. You want me to go public? Yes. It's dangerous, yes. But it's also protection. Once everyone knows you're mine, most threats will back off. And the ones that don't, his expression went cold. I'll handle personally. Elena thought about their basement apartment. About 3 jobs and never enough money. About Sophia growing up the way she had, scared, poor, alone. If I do this, she said slowly, if I become Elena Russo publicly, I want to work. Work? I'm not going to sit around spending your money. I have a degree in social work. I want to use it. Maybe start a foundation, something to help women like my mother. Single mothers, people escaping poverty, families who need support. Dante stared at her for a long moment, then smiled, a real smile that made him look years younger. Isabella would have loved you so much. You have her heart. Is that a yes? That's a hell yes. I'll fund whatever you want. You want a foundation? You'll have the best in the city. You want to change lives? I'll make sure you have the resources to change thousands. Just like that. Just like that. You're my daughter. And you're going to do what I never could, use our resources for good. He stood, offered her his hand. Come back to the city with me. Be part of this family. Let me spend the rest of my life making up for the 26 years I lost. Elena took his hand and stood. Okay. But we do it my way. I'm not going to become someone I'm not. I keep my values. I stay myself. I wouldn't want you any other way. They stood there, father and daughter, while the stars wheeled overhead. 2 people who'd lost everything and found each other. A family forged not by choice but by blood and love and second chances. Inside, Sophia slept with Fred the dinosaur. Tomorrow, they'd go back to the city. They'd face whatever came next. Together. The Russo Foundation's annual gala was the event of the season. The ballroom of the Plaza Hotel glittered with Manhattan's elite, politicians, philanthropists, business leaders. And at the center of it all, commanding attention without trying, was Elena Russo. She wore a silver gown that cost more than her old apartment but felt comfortable in a way designer clothes rarely did. Her hair was up, highlighting the necklace at her throat, her mother's necklace, the one that had changed everything. Mommy, do I have to wear this dress? Sophia, now 9, tugged at her navy blue gown. It's itchy. Just for a few more hours, baby. Then you can change into your pajamas, okay? Okay. Sophia brightened. Nano said after the party we can watch a movie and eat ice cream. Of course he did. Elena smiled. Her father had become completely wrapped around Sophia's finger within approximately 3 days of meeting her. 5 years later, nothing had changed. Dante appeared at her elbow, looking devastating in a tuxedo. The mayor's asking about the literacy program expansion. Tell him we're funding 6 new locations next quarter. Elena accepted a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. "And that we're partnering with the public schools." "Already done." Dante's pride was obvious. "You're brilliant at this. I learned from watching you negotiate with people." He laughed. "Careful. Someone might hear you." "Let them. Everyone knows who you are. Who we are." It was true. 5 years ago, Dante had held a press conference and introduced Elena as his daughter. The media had gone insane. The FBI had investigated. Rival families had tested boundaries. All of them had learned that touching Elena or Sophia Russo was a death sentence. The foundation had launched 2 years ago. What started as Elena's pet project had become one of the most successful non-profits in the city. They'd helped thousands of single mothers, provided housing, education, job training. Changed lives the way Elena's had been changed. It was the best kind of revenge against poverty, using the resources that had been denied her mother to help others escape the same trap. "There's someone I want you to meet," Dante said, guiding her through the crowd. "He's interested in funding your housing initiative." They navigated through small talk and air kisses until they reached a group of men near the windows. One of them turned, and Elena's breath caught. He was young, maybe 35. Tall, with kind eyes and an easy smile. Not part of Dante's world, she could tell immediately. He had that clean feeling, that lack of danger that marked civilians. "Elena, this is Dr. James Mitchell. He runs a medical practice in Queens." "James, my daughter. It's an honor." James shook her hand, his grip warm and professional. "I've been following the Foundation's work. What you're doing is remarkable." "Thank you. And please, call me Elena." They talked for 20 minutes. About his practice, about her programs, about the neighborhood where she'd grown up. He'd opened a clinic there 5 years ago, was passionate about providing care to underserved communities. He was smart, funny, genuine in a way most people in this room weren't. Dante noticed her noticing. Of course he did. "Dr. Mitchell is single," her father mentioned casually after James excused himself to take a call. "Excellent reputation. No criminal record. Decent family. Did you just run a background check on someone I talked to for 20 minutes? "I run background checks on everyone you talk to." He wasn't even apologetic. "It's my job to make sure no one gets close to you who might hurt you." Elena should have been annoyed. Instead, she was touched. "Dad," the word still felt new after 5 years, but good. "I can handle my own dating life." "I know you can. But I can still make it easier." He squeezed her shoulder. "He's good enough for you." Which is saying something, because no one is actually good enough for you. "You're ridiculous." "I'm protective." "There's a difference." Sophia ran up, weaving between adults with practiced ease. No, the cake is out. Can we have some now?" "The guest of honor wants cake," Dante announced to the room. "Who am I to deny her?" They cut the cake, an elaborate creation with the Foundation's logo in frosting. Elena gave a short speech, thanking donors and supporters. She looked out at the crowd and thought about how far she'd come. From invisible to unmissable. From powerless to powerful. From alone to surrounded by family. Later, after the party wound down and Sophia had fallen asleep in the car, Elena and Dante stood on the terrace of the mansion. The same view she'd had 5 years ago, but everything different now. "I'm proud of you," Dante said quietly. "Your mother would be too. I wish she could have seen this. All of it. She can." He touched the necklace at her throat. "I believe that. She's watching. And she's so proud of the woman you've become. The mother you are. The legacy you're building." Elena's eyes burned. "Do you think she'd forgive us?" For moving on? For being happy. Isabella was the most loving person I ever knew. She'd want nothing but happiness for us. For you especially. He pulled out his phone, showed her the screen. Look what I found today. It was a photo, old, slightly faded. A young Dante, maybe 21, with his arm around a beautiful girl with dark hair and Elena's eyes. They were laughing, caught in a moment of pure joy. "That's her," Elena whispered. "That's my mother. 3 weeks before the ambush. One of the only photos I have." He swiped to another image, the same photo, now professionally restored and framed. "I'm having it hung in the family gallery, next to your photo and Sophia's, where she belongs." Elena couldn't speak, could only hug him while tears streamed down her face. "We made it," Dante said into her hair. "Despite everything. Despite the years lost and the pain and all of it, we made it. We're a family." "We're a family," Elena agreed. Inside, Sophia slept surrounded by dinosaurs and Legos and every toy her grandfather could buy. Tomorrow, Elena would meet with her foundation board. Next week, she had coffee scheduled with Dr. Mitchell. Just coffee, she'd told her father firmly, though his security team would undoubtedly be watching. Her life was complicated, dangerous in ways that still kept her up some nights, connected to a world of violence and power and crime. But it was also full, rich with love and purpose and possibility. She was Elena Russo, daughter of Isabella Rodriguez and Dante Russo, mother to Sophia, founder of a foundation that changed lives. And every morning when she woke up, she touched the necklace at her throat and whispered thanks to the mother who'd protected her, to the father who'd found her, and to the chance encounter that had given her a family when she'd thought she'd lost everything. Some stories ended in tragedy. Some ended in triumph. This one ended in hope. And that was enough. And so our story ends. If you connected with this journey, leave your like and share it with someone who you think would love it too. More stories are coming. See you in the next one.